Yes. Oopsie. Alright, let me just get my big head out of the way. Alright, so unfortunately I'm not going to be practicing again today. I did something to my shoulder, I'm not too sure, it's been bothering me for a few weeks, but slowly it's been kind of getting a little bit worse, so I'm waiting for a physical therapist. Just gotta wait for that appointment to get ready. But so we're gonna do a sort of magical themed yin class this morning.
Okay.
So I'm excited. Hey Robin, it's good to see you this morning. Hope you're doing well. So I got the inspiration for this class earlier this week when we had gifted a couple pairs of socks to my son's girlfriend, and she made a comment about being a free elf, which stumped my son and I because we're not huge Harry Potter fans, so we were both kind of like, okay. And then we asked Kaylee why that would be funny, and she came in and said because when you give an elf socks, he becomes free according to Harry Potter. So I was like, ooh, Harry Potter. And then I noticed in our Facebook group for the live stream classes, a couple of our members were having a conversation about how to best recreate blocks with books. And so a few of them were saying that books 4 and 5, or 4, 5, and 6 would be the perfect size to mimic the size of a block. So I just kind of found that funny. So I thought, why not? Let's feel a little bit magical this Friday morning, especially because it's rainy and gross, and so sometimes yin is a wonderful opportunity to close our eyes and turn all of the thought process inward and just kind of allow that to take you where it will. So with that, we're going to go. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and get started. All right, so we're just going to get started with some stillness, seated, and breathing. If you want to come on into your most comfortable place. And just notice where your breath is at this moment. And feel yourself slowing down. Feel your thought and attention turning inward. And then begin to just tap into this inner energy that we all possess. This inner energy to shut out the outside world, no matter what's going on around you. Begin to increase the inhale, taking in more breath further down into your body, and increase your exhale so it matches your inhale. Find this easy rhythm. A rhythm where there's balance, equality, a rhythm where there's time to notice where things begin, where they end, and what happens in between. give yourself permission today, especially, to enjoy the in-between moments. To not focus so much on the beginning or the end, but to stay present and enjoy what's going on in the middle. We'll be here for a few more breaths. Begin to set an intention for this morning's practice now that you've been still for a few moments. We'll open today and perhaps create your intention around this quote. We do not need magic to transform the world. We carry all the power we need within ourselves. And on an inhale, begin to circle, sweep the arms up and around, bringing hands to your heart. So today, begin to think of this inner energy as a magical energy, as an inner power that you have to transform yourself. And by transforming yourself, we have the power to transform the world. Taking one last breath, inhale and exhale. And slowly, softly open the eyes. Let's begin to roll the shoulders around in circles. Maybe take the head around in some circles as well. And just give yourself time to go slow and enjoy each turn of the circle. And then going the opposite direction if you haven't already. And then coming to stillness, we're going to move into our first set of poses, which is going to be first half dragonflies and then full. So if you want to begin to draw your left leg in towards the midline of the body and extend the right leg out. Now you can always use blankets under your sits bones if you want to give a little bit of a lift or cushion. You can always use blankets underneath your knee or heel if that needs a little bit of support as well. And that could be of your bent knee or the straight knee. So today, if you have blocks handy, we're going to begin to lean on out towards the extended leg, and maybe you bring your elbow to rest on your thigh, or perhaps you prop up and add some blocks beneath your elbow or inside or on top of your thigh to help give you some lift. Now your top arm can come up and overhead, and then it can just fall down on top of the head and rest. I like to lace my fingers and create a cradle for my head. If bringing bringing your top arm over and across your head does not feel great for you today, you can bring it over the front of your body and hold the opposite forearm or shoulder, upper arm or shoulder. And we'll just pause here for a few breaths and moments. And as you're here, work to settle. Come back to the movement of your breath, the slow inhale and exhale. And now that we've seen the beginning of this pose, don't rush yourself to the end of it, but just enjoy these middle parts. Now, if while you're here in this middle point of this pose, if you feel that there's room to grow, maybe the elbow slides further down your leg, maybe it falls down to the floor beside you, or perhaps you remove a block if you started with them. Notice the side body, feeling your inhales and exhales. And then slowly let's begin to wiggle the toes and the fingers. Feel the weight of the head lifting from the palm of your hand. Begin to lift back up. Let's bring both legs straight out in front and just give a little bit of a wiggle And stir the body around in circles. Let's go a few times one way and a few times the opposite direction. And then pause for stillness. Push all the way out through the heels of your feet. Feel as though your head is being pulled up to the ceiling above you. Feel this great and rising magical energy throughout your entire being. Notice the difference between your left and right. And then softly, let's begin to move to the opposite side, tucking the right foot in towards the midline of the body. Adjusting your seat, maybe adding a blanket beneath the sits bones if you want that lift or cushioning. And then once you're ready, sliding the arm down the leg, making use of blocks if you would like extra propping. Opposite arm can come up and overhead. And so here, one thing to really be aware and mindful of is how much you may be pushing with that upper arm. As you bring it up and over, find the place where it's going to stay put so you don't have to keep on pushing and reaching and stretching it. Maybe lacing up the fingers, cradling your head as you lean to the side. Here, oftentimes, we notice how different one side is from the other. Take notice of those differences. And then slowly give them a little poof and let them float away in a cloud of magical dust. Just be here. Enjoy this middle place once again. Notice how things change the longer we hold in this pose. Give yourself permission to go deeper, embracing that magical transformative power from within. 1 minute more. Begin to wiggle your toes. Take the weight of your head from the palms of your hands. Slowly we're going to work back up to seated. Once again, we'll come back to that neutral place where we bring both feet out in front. Stir the body around in circles, maybe the opposite direction of which you went last time. If you remember. If you don't, we'll go both ways this time. And then coming to stillness, feel yourself push out through the heels of your feet. Feel as though your head is being pulled up, and as this happens, feel everything in between, from your shins to your thighs to your abdominals, your back, your chest, and your shoulders becoming more active. Take a deep breath. And we're going to move into our full dragonfly. So let's bring both legs out wide to the sides. And we're just going to take a quick moment to measure. Actively press your legs out as far as they will go. So really give a good long push. And then as you soften, let go of that push and maybe feel your legs just slide back in a little bit towards one another. So feel yourself relax it just about 15 to 20%. So you're not at 100% of your effort here. We're going to begin to now crawl the arms forward towards the front of your space. And as you do, we've got several options. You could place a bolster underneath the forearms and stop yourself from going too far forward. You could place the bolster long ways and rest your upper body onto it. And maybe you rest your head down onto your hands, a blanket or a block, or since you're at home, maybe your favorite pillow. Or if everything feels really good here, you could come and lay your body down onto the floor or just a folded blanket. But I want you to think and remember what it felt like to push everything out to your 100% and then scale it back to your 80% or so, 80, 85%. And I want you to continue to work here so that you don't feel as though you're pushing all the way out to 100 this whole time. So even though you may be able to go further, dial it back that 15, 20%. Notice your breath. Now that we've seen the beginning of this pose, we're going to enjoy the middle parts of the pose. We're about halfway through. If you have your head turned to one side, perhaps turn it over to the other side. We'll begin moving towards the ending of this pose. Scan through. Can you shake out any tension in your legs? Can you soften any tension in your shoulders or your upper body? Can you relax the jaw a little bit more? Still enjoying this middle part of the pose. Be here. And begin to wiggle your fingers and toes. Begin to lift up and away from your forward fold, whatever that looked like. You can set props to the side. And one last time, begin to bring your feet face forward. Stir the body around in circles. You can go in both directions. And then once you're sitting up tall, press out through the heels of the feet, lift up through the crown of the head, engage everything and just feel that buzzing energy rising up from the soles of the feet to the crown of the head and then returning all the way down through the head, the shoulders, the hips, the legs to the feet once again. Feel this moving in both directions. We begin to move into our next series of poses, and we're going to start by coming onto the knees. And we're going to do a toe stretch, one of my favorites. I think I included in 75% of my yin classes. We're going to tuck the toes under so your heels are popped high, and then just begin to set your sits bones back onto those heels. So the one thing that I love about toe stretch is that there's still an active element here. So we're holding the body upright from the hips to the shoulders to the top of the head. That's sitting upright nice and tall. The toes are tucked under, and although we're not actively stretching them, we are passively stretching them because they're tucked under, and then the weight of the body just gives a little bit of a pressure on top of them to keep them in this forward curled movement. And you slowly just feel that this toe stretch starts maybe fairly benign. You notice it in the toes, And then that sensation begins to creep up along the soles of your feet, around the tops of your feet and around the ankles. Maybe you start to feel a little bit of warmth and heat growing. Begin to feel it stretching along the shin bones, through the calf muscles. And this toe stretch goes from just being a mildly awkward place to come to a pretty heated place to sustain. We're only going to be here for a little bit longer. You can always relax the toes if you feel that you've pushed past a point of intrigue and into a place of injury. So just breathing in, try to enjoy this middle part. And for this one, it's hard not to anticipate the end. We get so ready to get out of it. Keep breathing. Deep breaths in. Deep exhales. Okay, don't rush the exhale, don't rush the exit. Begin to lean forward, bring your hands to the floor. And then shift so you can lift the feet and roll your ankles around in circles. Feel all that heat slowly just cooling off. All that built up energy just slowly starting to dissipate. Alright, begin to slowly move on to your belly. And we're going to actually use the blocks for Sphinx pose today, maybe. So as you come down onto your belly, bring your feet out nice and wide to the edges of the mat. And then just wiggle your hips around from side to side. And as you're wiggling, begin to feel yourself just settle in, hip points finding a place on the floor, small of the back finding its best place. Begin to line up your elbows beneath your shoulders. And we'll pause here for a moment. So we're going to do this in a few phases. In this first phase, allow your chin to come towards your head and hang forward. As that happens, if that created tension, if that created an added awareness, if it causes you to feel uncomfortable, you can set the gaze forward. Now take an inventory throughout your body. How are we feeling here and now? And if this middle place is the best middle place for you to stay, feel free to do that. But once you're ready, if you want to move forward, you can take hold of your blocks, and we're going to place one underneath each forearm so that you are propped up a little bit higher, like the Sphinx in the Egyptian area. There you go. And then just slide those blocks closer, or even maybe a little bit more away from the body, further away from the body. Try to find the place where there's a line from your shoulders to the elbows. Your gaze could look forward. If it feels good for you, you can slide the arms to a place where they're fully supported on the blocks, and then maybe steeple your fingers underneath your chin so that your chin has a resting place. Bend your arms up. Scanning through, are there any places that are holding on that you could relax? Shake out tension in the legs, in the upper body. Find stillness. Be here for one final minute. And slowly, when you're ready, we can begin to awaken the body. Remove your props. Release the back bend and just come to lay on the floor, folding one hand on top of the other, resting your head onto the backs of them like a pillow. Be here for a few moments. Maybe begin to pump the legs forward and back. Breathe deeply into the small space of your back that was just curved up in the back bend. Fill that area with breath and puff it out as you do. We're going to move into a couple of twists from our bellies today. So begin to bring your arms out like football goalposts. And then bring your right knee up towards your right elbow. So slide it along the floor like a frog. We hang here for just a moment to let everything settle into this new space, especially inner thigh. This is a half of a floor frog pose. We're not going to be here for too long, but just breathe. Before we move, we're going to just identify where pieces of the body are. Left leg is long behind you. Right leg is bent out to the right side. You're going to begin to lift up and plant your right palm to the floor so that your body is lifted up and your arm is in front of you long. And then tuck the left arm underneath and begin to curl over, bringing your right arm across your back and towards the opposite side. Yes. And there's the twist that we are looking for today. Now, if as you move into this twist, you find that there's any hanging parts that need a little bit of support, you can use a pillow or a blanket for your head. You could tuck a bolster along your spine behind you so that your back has something to roll towards and feel grounded still. Or you could just hang out here unsupported if that feels all right. We'll be here for several moments. With the beginning of the pose already here, slowly feel yourself settling in throughout the entire time we're in the middle of this pose. Settle in, let go of trying to get further, trying to go further. Settle in, feel yourself becoming heavy and relaxed. Settle in, feel the sensation as it maybe grows, changes, evolves, and transforms the longer you pause in this place. Enjoy the middle. Begin to wiggle your toes and fingers, waking up from the edges all the way back up through the entire body. Slowly begin to bring your top arm back across, untwist, and then slide the right leg down by the left. Maybe shake them out. This time perhaps swishing them from side to side like windshield wipers. Here, just breathing for a few moments in this neutral place. Observe the differences left to right side. And then begin to open the arms up like football goalposts. This time sliding the left leg out to the side, knee towards the elbow. Taking just a few moments. Giving your body time to make peace with this new place. As you feel the newness wearing off, this pose becomes more relaxed, more comfortable. Begin to press down through the left palm, bringing that arm slightly forward. And then take the right arm underneath your body. And as you cross over, peel your left arm back into the other side. Finding any props that you might need here, blocks, bolsters, pillows. Once you've found the best place, begin the process of letting go. Let go of all the working places that don't need to work right now. Halfway done. begin to wiggle fingers and toes, making small movements from the far reaches of your body. And then finally coming out of the twist, come back onto your belly one last time, supporting the head on the pillow of your hands. Swish the legs from side to side. Or take a brief moment to press back to either a tabletop. If you'd like to continue to add some movement, you can do options of cat-cow or rolling around in circles. Or if you'd like to push all the way back to a child's pose, giving your back a moment to move into the opposite direction of where we just had it. And for the end of today's class, we're going to come back to seated. You can bring the hands out to the knees, palms face up if you're looking to receive some energy. Palms face down if you'd like to feel a little bit more grounded. We're going to come back to the movement and the thought of our breath. Inhale a little bit deeper. Feel yourself filling up further down throughout your entire being. Exhale a little bit more completely, flushing out that entire breath. Begin to see your breath as a magical power. Inhale the ability to transform, to change, to become. Exhale, let go of the striving. Let go of the overreaching. Inhale acceptance, awareness. Exhale self-criticism, negativity. Let's take just a few more rounds of breath. Inhale whatever comes to mind for you. What is positive? What is worth embracing? Exhale anything that stands in the way. On an inhale, circle sweep your arms up. Bring the hands to the heart. Closing our practice with the same quote we used to begin. We do not need magic to transform the world. We carry all the power we need within ourselves already. Take time each day to transform yourself, to tap into this magical power. And know that as you continue to change who you are, the world will change because of you. Namaste. Folks, I want to thank you all so much for joining us. It looks like Sarah, Robin up on the Facebook. Glad you ladies were able to join us. Missy, it was a pleasure as always to share practice with you. And ladies, I'm excited. We have found a spot. We are going to be able to have some classes outside where we can meet face to face and we can enjoy a little bit of chatting prior to class, a little bit of chatting after class. Of course, we do now have to wait for the weather to cooperate because nobody wants to go do yoga in hurricanes. So once the weather and the ground has become a little bit drier, a little bit warmer, a little bit more conducive to enjoying outdoor space, we will be so excited to share that with you. And so we'll keep you posted as that takes shape. But for now, have a great day. We'll see you.